So the other major story in the heavyweight division this month was the main event.
Major story.
Well, they did like 3 angles and it wasn't bad. So what more can you ask for? But it was the build to the main event of Lockdown, which is Abyss facing the phenomenal AJ Styles.
You are.
I am.
So I think the build to this was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like 2 things.
It was like 2 angles in a match.
Yeah. But you know, Garrett.
I do.
Not everything needs to be the greatest storyline of all time, the Bloodline.
So it's not getting an Emmy.
I saw a tweet the other day that reminded me of this, but I like the tweet was, I like the idea that WWE fans think that specific storylines in TV shows win Emmys.
Yeah, it's a category in the Emmys. Best storyline on a scripted television show.
Like, I'm gonna give it to the B plot of this Soprano season.
I wasn't really into what Tony did this year, but then, some of those other stories, those were pretty darn good.
Yeah. Crying.
Maybe they should. Maybe they should start doing Emmys for that.
Specific storyline Emmys would be kind of fun.
Do they do episode Emmys?
No?
They probably should at least do episode Emmys, right? It feels like a thing they should do.
They should do best performance in a single scene Emmys.
Yeah.
Like, just when someone really hams it up and does some acting, capital A.
And none of there has to be real rigid definitions on what they mean by scene. It's like none of your bottle episode bullshit. If it goes longer than 3 minutes, it doesn't count.
Yeah. You get 3 camera cuts.
Yeah. People are going to start shooting TV around that. It's like, it only has 3 cuts. Fair enough, it's 2 hours long, but there's only 3 cuts.
That sounds like a great technical challenge, actually.
So the March 25th Impact opened with a segment.
I forgot that we were talking about wrestling, if I'm being honest.
Trinity and Tracy were reviewing papers when Abyss showed up and pointed as AJ just walked past. And then they just cut there. That was the scene.
Was that the one where she's like, I know what you want?
But they broke it in 2 for some reason. So this segment, and I went to check the actual broadcast version to make sure it wasn't cut weirdly, and it wasn't. So it was like a 15-second segment where Tracy and Trinity were reviewing papers. Abyss walked up, pointed. AJ walked past, glanced at them, and that was it. I was like,
you stay away from those girls, Abyss. Like, AJ's getting more and more redneck.
Naturally. So they ran the opening titles, and then Mike Tenay is like, now we're going to go back to that scene we started the episode with. I'm like, okay, why couldn't you just show it in full the first time?
They had to cliffhanger it.
Yeah, they had to get you through the opening titles of Impact.
They had to get you through the Jeff Jarrett segment.
Because you had to see Jeff Jarrett in those opening titles. So you'd see the 40 seconds of them, but Jarrett's there, and you're like, oh no, I don't know if I can do it today.
So you're like, well, I gotta see if Tracy and Trinity were murdered by Abyss.
So they cut back to that Abyss scene. Abyss wants his title match, because if you remember last month, he walked up with his dripping wet torn contract and handed it to Tracy and Trinity.
Oh, this is continuity as to why he's doing a second number 1 contenders match.
Yeah, so they can't find his contract. And he once again hits their pose, causing them to faint.
I'm giving a best scene performance.
To Abyss hitting his pose.
Yeah. That should be a new category.
In the end of year awards?
In the end of year awards. Best scene.
So AJ's like, I'm going to defend those women. And brawls with Abyss for a little bit.
I'm going to defend those women.
A man of the women.
I'm going to knock you straight off this flat earth.
Oh no. Oh.
Sometimes I just have a brief memory where I remember that he's a flat earther and it makes me laugh.
The episode of Talking Smack is just an old-timer.
I don't think the world's flat.
The earth is a sphere. The deadpan delivery of the earth is a sphere will live in my head until I die.
Honestly, Talking Smack was the best thing they have done in 10 years.
Yep.
I remember when fuck this match. When that brand split first happened, me and my friend, we had a tradition for a few weeks for the first month or whatever, where we just go and watch SmackDown and Raw. And I remember it became okay, let's get through SmackDown so we can put on Talking Smack.
You don't give a shit about what happens on SmackDown. You want Renee and...
I am not a flat earther. But there are things that they say, I never thought about it like that. Here's the thing. You don't have to believe in anything that's told you. Like, you can always question anything. Is that my Lord Jesus? And although I'm not a flat earther, there are some things that, like, make sense. But then again, satellites, the curvature of the earth, if you're a sniper, you got all that to take into account. I'm not a flat earther, but they bring up some interesting points.
Listen.
It's interesting, and I think you should be able to question anything you want. They don't have to agree with everybody.
So I would like to point out that this is a man who regularly wrestled in Japan. So he is a man who has regularly flown across the earth, and I assume never looked out his window. But the fact that his point of reference for why it might not be flat is a sniper.
Yeah.
What is going through this man's mind that it's like, well, you know, they say a lot of things that are true, but then I have to think about how a sniper has to take account of the curvature of the earth. So that really does present a compelling counterpoint.
Wait, what did he say? I don't know who can say. The only person that ever told me or told the world the other planets exist is NASA.
No one has ever proved it other than NASA.
The only person that ever told me or told the world that other planets exist is NASA.
Has he never looked in the sky?
But there's a reason for all. They're making a lot of money. A lot of money. They have a lot of money coming in. NASA is not an American thing. It's a world thing.
Oh, there's
a lot of people don't know that. So when you start asking questions, there are not a lot of answers sometimes.
AJ, you're saying too many wrong things in a sequence of a sentence.
I'm gonna pass out. Like, all the blood has rushed to my head.
You have embodied the AJ too much so that there's actually nothing left in your brain to process anything.
Oh, AJ Styles. This was 2017. That was 5 years ago. 6 years ago. He could have evolved.
I hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so.
I don't know who can say. The only person that's ever told me or told the world that other planets exist is NASA.
You can see them with your own eyes. Look in the sky!
I love you, AJ Styles.
He's my favorite wrestler of all time.
And this is what you get.
Can't trust to enjoy anybody. Fucking NASA's a world institution.
I like how I'm doing different southern accents every time. It's not staying consistent.
My favorite part was when even you were like doing the reading and passing voice, you still did it. Even the skim through to find the point I want, you did it in the AJ voice. The April 1st episode of Impact, Mike Tenay and Don West announced that the second steel cage match at Lockdown will be the phenomenal AJ Styles versus the Monster Abyss. And Dusty said that was determined through all the emails from the fans around the world.
Yeah, around the millions.
I wish they would have emailed them to tell them to book up at a wrestling show.
I wish they would have watched the wrestling show.
Opening match on that show was Abyss versus Cassidy Riley. Styles was on commentary. Abyss won with the Black Hole Slam. He pulled thumbtacks him under the ring, but Jeff Hardy made the save.
Of course, it makes perfect sense.
AJ's literally sitting there at the announce desk.
I did think it was funny that AJ like kind of looked too scared.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not getting in the ring with Abyss. He has thumbtacks.
That guy's really dangerous.
Even then, like after Hardy made the save, Raven then jumped Hardy, and they were beating on Hardy 2-on-1 for a while, and AJ was still standing there, being like,
I was like, someone should help him.
Yeah. I like Mike and Don pleading. It's like, no, you can't go there, AJ. It's too dangerous.
I like the idea that like they meant to like passive aggressively, like, no, AJ, you can't go there. It's too dangerous.
You fucking cowardly bitch. AJ did eventually make the save. He eventually nutted up.
Sorry, I'm still one out.
The April 8th episode of Impact had AJ Styles versus Chase Stevens in a wrestling match that happened.
Yes.
Sadly, we had that run of really good 5-minute AJ TV matches. Chase Stevens clearly doesn't got it in him.
Yeah, he don't have that dog in him. He's no Andy Douglas.
He never had one against Andy Douglas, Liam. He's no Johnny Devine. Sorry, he's no A1.
Fuck you.
My favorite moment on the watch along, if you go to tnachat.com or patreon.com/kiddingme. So A1 is at ringside for the Lockdown tag title match. And I'm like, look, it's Johnny Devine. And Liam's like, I mixed them up again. And I gaslit him. It was very funny.
Shake my head.
I am messing with Liam's mental state. which AJ Styles has already done enough of right now.
Yeah, it also kind of hurt my voice.
To do the AJ voice?
To do whatever those voices were.
Styles had Stevens pinned, but Douglas and Candido interfered. Styles reversed the powerbomb into the Styles Clash for the win. Then Abyss came out with a chair, and my favorite part of that was AJ was walking up the ramp to leave, but he didn't realize Abyss was there yet. So Abyss started hitting the top of the turnbuckle, the post, with the chair to get AJ's attention. Mm-hmm. Just so AJ could turn around and then security could separate them.
Abyss is a worker.
He's like, turn around.
Turn around.
I did like Don mentioning that AJ saw Abyss on the screen because he was walking toward the ramp and he could see Abyss on the screen. But clearly he didn't notice because he still didn't turn around for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Franchise had Styles and Hardy on the April 15th episode.
In the best segment of the month.
So Styles does a regular promo. He's like, I'm afraid of what Abyss can do, but the right kind of afraid. The one that will give me gumption when it comes. Hardy does a promo about his cage match against Raven. We'll talk about that in a sec. And then they finish the promo. They're like, we're going to face Abyss and Raven next week in the Impact main event. And we're all very happy. And Franchise is like, ooh, Franchise, I'm thrown to the next segment. And then Raven just walks in and bonks Jeff Hardy in the head with a trash can.
A very satisfying bonk.
It is. He comes out of nowhere. He bonks him, like poses for a little bit. AJ runs back into frame. And then that's it. That's the segment. That's the build to the Raven and Hardy match, which we'll talk about in a sec. Which has just as many segments as the build to this one has, really.
It's all you need.
And then main event of the Go Home Show, April 22nd, is Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles versus a Raven and Abyss.
So, I enjoyed this match quite a bit.
Yes.
Just because, and they mention it in that Shane Douglas interview that this may be like the most star-studded main event in Impact history. And I kind of like agree.
Yeah.
Like just having these 4 guys on TV really does it, you know? Like it brings it up another level. And I think like Abyss and Raven are great foils for AJ and Jeff. And I don't even mind doing the DQ finish because they're all going into cage matches.
Yeah, so there can be no DQs.
And Raven and Abyss look like monsters at this point. So I really think, I just think it was a good combination of stuff that led to a pretty good match. The only reason like we're taking any more seconds to discuss this than we normally would is because it was like a 3-star match, which on TV in this company is like, oh, we must talk about it. It's like if like Roosh and Danielson had happened.
Yeah, you get on your knees and you praise the sun that there was a decent little television match in these 6 episodes of television.
Yeah.
There's 2 whole decent little television matches this month, I'll have you know.
Name 7 more.
I said 2, but... Let me tell you.
Name 7 more then.
3 Live Crew against Lex Lovett, Buck Quartermain, and David Young.
Alright, you've done it.
Yeah, like they give this match the special 30-minute time limit. I think it goes like 12 either way. But still, it's nice that they're like, this is an important match featuring stars in the main event of Impact.
Hey guys, we have them.
I know. It's even like the lazy thing we've talked about where it's just like, let's throw 2 pay-per-view matches together in a tag before the pay-per-view. But again, it works.
But it makes sense with these guys, to be fair.
And they did set up an angle with the attack and save stuff and the backstage promo. So it's not just out of nowhere.
And also like Jeff and AJ have teamed before. And they're just coming off the Jeff Abyss feud. So there's a reason for that. Raven and AJ are feuded. So like there's interconnectivity which it kind of brings it up a level.
It all goes together. It all flows. Like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. It's poetry in motion.
Matt's not coming in yet.
Which
Sorry.
Jeff and AJ hit.
They did. They're the real Hardy brothers. No one needs Matt. You have Jeff and AJ.
I was trying to think of another disparaging Flat Earth remark, but I couldn't.
Abyss goes to hit Hardy with the chain, but Styles took the chain shot for his partner Hardy, causing the DQ. Then Abyss whipped AJ with a chain. Raven threw Hardy through a table on the floor. Then Abyss wrapped the chain around AJ's neck and yanked him into a chair in the corner. As you said, all that stuff just made Abyss and Raven seem like killers. We're just like beating the shit out of AJ and Hardy in interesting ways. It's not just like generic brawling. It's not like the Naturals thing where it's like a few stomps and Kevin Nash is supposed to be hurt. Like Hardy was thrown through a table on the floor. Styles was dragged through a chair in the corner. They tried to do a stretcher job on Styles. Abyss attacked him, but then Styles like fired up and started punching him as he went off the air. There was like good energy to this angle.
Yeah, and felt like the crowd was into it.
It felt like an actual angle, which most things on this show don't.
It felt they both feel like real mid-card matches between actual people, which is a big plus over the trash that we normally get given.
So the main event of Lockdown, for the number one contendership for the NWA World Championship, the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Abyss.
It's not the one, you know? It's not the Abyss AJ Styles cage match.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah?
Isn't the NWA title one?
There is no NWA title match. This is the
What?
AJ Styles Abyss match.
Oh my god, I've had a stroke and imagined I was watching a different match.
I think it's just because you were too busy making my D&D character to notice.
I swear to god they had a different one, but I guess I'm crazy.
No, this is their match. This is the AJ Styles Abyss match. It fucking rocks.
Oh my god, it is too. Oh, actually, Garrett, guess what?
What?
I'm now gonna Rolodex my mind back to the other time I watched this and really liked it. Then. You know, sometimes when you're doing a show, guys, you have to perform, and you have to make things compelling. And when that happens, you sometimes forget to pay attention to the match.
Sometimes you were too busy inventing McGiggins Johnson, the wood elf, to pay attention to AJ Styles versus Abyss in their fucking awesome kick-ass match.
Yeah, this match rocks.
Let it be noted, if you go and listen to the watch-along, you will hear multiple attempts for me to get Liam's attention on matches. I'm fine when he goes on tangents during, like, fucking BG James. He can do that all he wants. I'm talking about Liam in the third person now. He's not in the room. Liam, don't listen.
Do you want me to leave?
So, I do my best every time. It's like, no, this is a good thing. You should pay attention to this one. You can do your bits elsewhere, sir.
It was like 1 a.m. I was tired.
You were too busy making me a D&D character.
My jaw hurts. Yeah, okay, well then I do know this match quite well. This match rocks.
Yeah, this match is awesome. It's funny, you have the back-to-back matches that start with floor brawling. One of which is not compelling whatsoever, and one of which is this AJ Abyss match with themselves. It's just the best. Like, the best part of the match might be, like, the 3 minutes on the floor at the start.
Yeah, AJ, again, he has those Gumby men instincts. And is just running around getting destroyed. And I think, you know what this match kind of is?
What?
Bonesaw versus Spider-Man.
That's always the comparison I think of, personally.
But you know what I mean? It kind of is, right? Like, it's AJ trying to, like, duck around, and he knows if he gets caught, he's going to get destroyed. And he takes that crazy fucking cage door to the head.
Yeah, which is a, like, top 5 cage match spot of all time. And it's just a cage door being swung into his face.
Because he lands on his fucking skull.
And he's, like, completely decapitated by the thing. It hits him right square in the jaw. It looks absolutely amazing, because as you said, not only does it hit him right in the face, he takes the perfect bump for a cage door hitting him in the face. It looks ridiculous. If you listen to Mike Tenay, like, yelps. Because they're talking about something else, because Abyss hits him in the back with the cage door, and they're like...
They were building a D&D character at the desk.
Yeah, they're also talking about McGiggins Johnson. And like, it almost takes Tenay by surprise, because he's like, oh, Jesus! It's like that level of tone. He goes like full Rick and Morty. Like, that's how high-pitched he becomes.
Oh, jeez, Don!
Because he just witnessed the man have his head taken off right in front of him. I also absolutely fucking adore the jumpstart to this match. Because AJ comes out first, does his entrance. Abyss comes out. Abyss is standing right outside the cage door, ready to go in. And AJ Styles hits a flip dive between, like, the ropes and the top of the cage.
It's a really striking image.
It is, and, like, if he gets the dive wrong, he hits the top of the cage, it could go wrong. But it just looks awesome.
Yeah. AJ's control of his body is on full effect in this match.
Because, there's a bunch of stuff around ringside as well, where he, like, slides under the rail and hits a dive off the rail. He dives over the front, like, 4 rows. Like, Abyss throws him into the crowd. He leaps over the crowd and comes back with a forearm. And you can actually see Abyss, like, try to get the people in front of him to duck, so AJ doesn't hit them in the back of the head as he does a flying forearm over him.
Yeah. I like that he kind of half showed concern. He's like, I don't want to, like, take you out, but I will.
Yeah. You signed a release, presumably. There's probably a sign somewhere saying you enter here at your own risk.
Which apparently is a big deal.
Why?
Did you see that?
No.
Oh, people got very, like, mad at AEW because they had one of those.
The standard "don't sue us" disclaimer?
Yep.
God damn it. WWE fans.
They're like, actually, that wouldn't hold up in court. My dad is a lawyer, and he says that wouldn't work.
Well, their dad's a lawyer. They said so.
True. And their uncle works at Nintendo.
Oh, what are they releasing?
Pokemon DLC.
Damn. That's going to be right next week, and people are going to think your uncle does in fact work at Nintendo.
And my dad is a lawyer. And that was my opinion about AEW.
And your uncle is Shigeru Miyamoto.
It's true.
Somebody's uncle is Shigeru Miyamoto, probably.
Maybe. We have to find out if he has siblings first.
Yeah.
We'll come back to you next month with that answer.
the deep research on the Hard Justice episode. And also whether or not Liam was right about the Pokemon DLC.
If I'm right, you have to go to the Patreon at the $1 tier. I'm not a monster.
So then they get in the ring and the match starts.
Yes. Which means we have to ignore everything that happened before this point when rating the match.
Yeah, unfortunately it's only a 2 1/4 star match because all the good stuff happened outside the ring. No, but then the rest of the match rocks too. Abyss goes for a press slam onto like a wrapped up chain, and AJ turns it into a DDT right on top of the chain.
Yeah, and we were talking about how small of a target that is.
Yeah, because he wraps it into like a...
It's like a coil.
Yeah, into a coil.
Like a snake.
He is a snake. He's a snake on the plane.
Snake in the back.
Snake in the grass.
Snake in the tax. I tried to stretch it to make it sound like grass. It didn't work.
So yeah, it's a very small target that they nail.
Oh, goddammit! Snake in the back, snake in the tax!
But they nail it perfectly.
Failure!
Abyss hits a black hole slam, and Styles becomes the first person in TNA history to kick out of the black hole slam.
Yay!
Then Styles hits a Styles Clash into Thumbtacks. It's not quite the full Styles Clash.
He hit the Diamond Clash, actually.
Does that have a name?
Yeah, it's the DDP used to do it.
Did he?
Without doing the legs.
Yeah, because it's a Styles Clash where he doesn't hook the legs, so he just lifts him up and drops him down. Closer to like the Cesaro neutralizer.
You know, I say that DDP used to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just his finisher in one of the 2K games, so I assume he used to do it at some point.
They couldn't possibly be wrong.
And it was called the Diamond Clash, so...
And they couldn't possibly be wrong.
They never have been before.
So yeah, right into Tax, and Abyss kicked out. AJ started climbing the cage, and then Abyss just fucking yeeted Andrew Thomas into it.
Yeah, there was a couple real nasty looking bumps into the ropes.
Where like he just picks Andrew Thomas up and launches him into the side of the cage and the ropes to knock AJ off the cage. And poor Andrew Thomas, that's a hell of a bump.
He went like under his arm and like hip into the top rope. Abyss is so good at playing a like wild beast.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about it at one point, AJ's on the cage, and Abyss just, like, headbutts in it, like, charges at it. Like he's a fucking wild boar. Not the NXT UK wrestler Wild Boar.
Wow. He's probably not there anymore, is he?
Nah, he got canned.
Oh.
I feel bad for Wild Boar.
Hope Wild Boar lands on his feet.
At Attack Pro Wrestling.
All 4 of his feet, because he's a wild boar.
He's a wild boar, I get it.
And he can't see the sky, so he probably thinks the earth's flat. I shouldn't say that about Wild Boar.
Come on, you don't know about Wild Boar.
Because pigs can't look up.
Is that true?
Yeah, pigs can't look
I
up.
suppose. How would that... That's not true.
Why?
How come when you feed a pig, they look up to get the food?
You're not feeding pigs from above.
Like, you hold your hand out and they reach their neck up and they eat the food.
Yeah, but they can't look at the sky. They're using like their feet and stuff.
I feel like they could see the sky if they can look up to see my hand.
There's a whole bit about it in Nope.
I know.
Alright, spoilers for Nope. So the whole thing about Nope is the alien is in the sky, and when you look at it, it comes for you.
Excuse me, the biblically accurate angel.
Yes. So there's a thing where like a pig survives because a pig can't look up.
Well, if it was in a movie, it must be true.
Yeah! Think Jordan Peele would lie to me?
Yes.
I think everything in that film is accurate.
Biblically accurate.
All the things that are being shot down by Joe Biden recently are actually those biblically accurate angels.
That would be so sick.
I can't even remember what led us on. Oh, Abyss is a wild boar. So yeah, he throws Andrew Thomas into the cage, which knocks AJ down, dangling from the outside. Abyss then hangs AJ with a chain, but AJ makes a comeback, hits a sunset for the powerbomb off the cage into Tax to win. And AJ Styles will challenge Jeff Jarrett at Hard Justice for the NWA Championship in May.
I'm sure that'll go well for him. Haha, wink.
Yeah, this match rocked. This match fucking rocks. It's probably the peak of Abyss's career. It's AJ working with a big man. It fulfills like the promise these two had. Because when we watch their matches in like 03, 04, they're like, they never had their match, but they clearly have just great chemistry together. but it never quite came together. And this is where it comes together.
Well, it was a match that, like, was so impactful that literally I remembered the other times I'd seen it because I was distracted during it this time. And all those things, like, still came through. Even, like, because I hadn't watched it that long ago. I watched it maybe, like, 8 months ago. I don't know why. I think it may have just been, like, on the Impact YouTube and I was looking for something to watch. But this feels like one of those matches that helps elevate AJ too.
Yeah.
Like, AJ has those guys, and I think we're about to see it a lot with Joe. But, like, this feels like a precursor to the Joe stuff.
Where it's dude who just kills him, just eats him up.
Yeah.
And he is like the perfect bumper, the perfect seller. He has credible comebacks, and when he wins, it really feels like he's overcome an obstacle. And even when he loses, it feels like he's gained something because he's fought so valiantly against the immovable force. Because he's AJ Styles. Like, as I said, this is the year where it's like, oh, like Abyss is, as I said, this is probably the peak of Abyss as a wrestler for various reasons. I think both opportunity and both his body begins to break down a couple of years after this.
He also separates his shoulder in this match.
Yes, that is a note. He separated his shoulder during the main event, and he was able to walk around normally, but he had his shoulder iced down to prevent further swelling and damage. I'd say he probably took that on the finish, though, I'd imagine.
Yeah? Yeah.
Because he took a sunset flip powerbomb off the ropes, AJ coming off a cage. So there's probably a decent amount of force on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abyss at his peak, AJ at his peak. Perfect pro wrestling. They beat the shit out of each other. This is a great main event.
Good work, guys.